My name is Wale Adesoya, and this is my lovely wife.
I'm Perhana Desenya from Ottawa.
We're very glad to come to Toronto and join the network Toronto for the business breakfast with the leaders, and the speakers were excellent. The Honorable Minister Michael Coteau, Minister of Immigration and Citizenship, was touched on a lot about project topics in terms of our community coming together and being represented within the Canadian mosaic.
History of this country outside of our Aboriginal population, every single person in this country has an immigrant story. It's maybe 300 years ago, maybe 30 days ago. Every single person has an immigrant story. And when I say that to newcomers, especially ones who just arrived, it kind of clicks to them that, wait a minute, I shouldn't feel like an outsider here. Every single person has an immigrant story. This is Canada. There's no other place in the world that's like it, in the sense that not only are we newcomers, but we're integrated into our daily lives. It's not like, you go into New York, you have, Brooklyn, you have, certain parts where it's just, everyone's kind of sectioned off. In the GTA, it's a very integrated system, and I think it places us into an economic advantage. So last year we launched the immigration strategy. And the immigration strategy has three objectives: to attract the best and brightest, which I think we're doing. I was looking at the numbers for the Nigerian population here in Ontario, and in 2012, 55% of all Nigerians that came into Ontario were actually here looking for a job. So they came here as people seeking to build a life. So I'm assuming the 45% are children, and maybe if there's a parent who's staying home. Of that 55%, 7% were looking for managerial work. 22% professionals. 22%, so that's 1 in 4. And 6% were skilled technicians. So in the immigration strategy, we're attracting the best and brightest. We're making sure they have the services necessary to be successful. And the third thing is leveraging that diversity that newcomers bring here to the province of Ontario. So the second piece about making sure they have the services necessary to be successful, 22%, 1 in 4 Nigerians coming into Toronto are professionals. 75% of our newcomer professionals are not working in their field. 75%. So of that 22%, the 1 in 4 that are professional, only 1 in 4 of that 1 in 4 are actually working in their field. So 75% of professional Nigerians who are here are not working in their field. That's not good. It's not good enough for this country. According to the Conference Board of Canada, that means that we lose, as a country, about $5 billion a year in lost revenue. It's unacceptable. But there's a tragedy. Even the economic piece is one thing. But could you imagine studying as a doctor for 14 years, coming to Ontario, and not having an opportunity to practice, what you've been trained to do, and to give back? That's a bit of a tragic story. And I know that Jean has been looking at ways to strengthen many different professions, including the medical sector. But we have to continue to do more. That's why, yesterday I launched additional funding for bridge training programs. And one of our programs that we have, the bridge training programs, takes foreign trained professionals and ensures that they have the ability to fast track, get the credentials, and work in the workforce. And since 2003, we've invested $240 million into those programs, and we've had over 55,000 people graduate from those programs. So this is a success story. And in addition to that, we have Global Experience Ontario, which is located in my office, and you can go in there, and if you're a foreign trained professional, plot your course to get to where you need to be at the fastest rate possible.
MP Michael Coteau had to put out were very poignant, and I think it's important for us to be aware of some of the statistics that are out there. Some of the initiatives that he proposed that we tackle are important too. He put out a challenge for the community. And I'm glad that there were a lot of people out here to kind of see what he was saying, and I hope that the word is spread and that the association goes out there and tackles some of these challenges, because it's a great opportunity for us, the community.
I think most people would say that we are, as Africans, that we are in a new, relatively young community, yet the African population representing about 1% of Canada's total population. Toronto has been blessed with having 41% of the African Canadian population. I remember back in the early days when we were organizing groups and organizations and associations, we gave no consideration whatsoever to the French language. And now I don't think that anyone could put something together, an organization, an association, without the consideration that as people of African descent, we have to consider French, because we have a number of French-speaking Africans in our midst. So we continue to welcome, we continue to be enriched, and you continue, the Nigerians continue to enrich Toronto's multicultural fabric, strengthening the economy, strengthening the culture, and helping to make this a better place and a more productive place, especially because of the entrepreneurship, the professional and business aspect of the way in which you work. I was invited to speak at on two different occasions, two different groups. One was to Black female lawyers. And I walked in the room, Remy was there, I walked in the room and there were about, 100 and something Black female lawyers in the room. And I was blown away. Because I remember back the early organizing that we did when there was some movement to recognize the first Black lawyer in Canada, Dallas Davis Roger, and we couldn't fill a telephone booth. And I walked in the room and there were all these women. They were bright, the eyes were sparkly, the shoulders were back, they were ready to take on the world. 2/3 of them were Nigerians. Another opportunity I had was, I think about 2 years ago, Dr. Miriam Rossi invited me to meet with Black professionals in the medical profession. And I went thinking, there'll be about 40 of them. And there must have been a couple hundred in the room. And they were surgeons, and they were just about every part of the medical profession. There were scientists, there were researchers, there were healthcare givers, just hundreds in the room. Again, doing important work, being very much part of the economy. And guess what? 2/3 were Nigerians. So there is something in the water, or something that happens in the education system. And I want to emphasize that you need and we need to keep this going, because our young people must understand that the way forward is through education. And the way forward is through hard work, because it doesn't come by just wishing it. It comes, as the old poet, while the others slept, toiling in the night. So Canada needs to do several things. One is to recognize your presence, our presence, and they have to do this because I'm sure the minister will tell you. By 2017, we know where we're going to be in terms of our labor market needs. By 2035, we know where we are going to be without immigration for our labor market needs. The Europeans and others are really struggling because they have the same demographic, the aging population, etc. But we feel very pleased that because of our multiculturalism policy, because of our acceptance of others, that we look to immigration for the building of our nation, the building of our society, the building of our labor, and providing us with the labor market needs.
The NPBN conference today was amazing. I found it very informative. It was amazing to see such inspiring minds coming together and really just bringing people in the community together, sharing information, allowing us to know that there is a support system out there, because I feel like when professionals come to this environment, you can feel very alone and very isolated. But having an organization like this, letting everyone know that there is a support system, you can come together, share ideas, and strive for excellence together, absolutely amazing.